Back. Well, we hear it every year, don't we now? At least wasn't always the case. This whole change the date campaign, saying that we need to move the date because when 26th of January happened all those years ago, it really brought in racism with the arrival of white settlement, they say, onto this continent. Now, whether it's due to the fires, which seems we're focused a bit more on what's bringing us together rather than what might divide us, or it's polls which say people have really moved on and have seen how false this campaign is. Tonight, I want to make the point, I think this is an unusual year. We're not talking so much about changing the date. I think the government there, to give it its due, has been out there very, I think, proactively with a campaign about the positives of Australia Day. I want to draw your attention to a poll released this week from the Institute of Public Affairs. It's found 71% of Australians support Australia Day remaining exactly where it is on the 26th of January. But not only that, 68% of Aussies believe that we are now a country that's far too politically correct. Well, joining me now for my panel is two commentators who certainly are not politically correct. Social commentator Prue MacSween and the wonderful broadcaster Luke Grant. Prue, what are your thoughts?
Well, isn't it wonderful to see that the silent majority is being heard? We're not being drowned out by these this war mob, this warrior. What are they? Warriors of Aboriginal resistance who are planning to sort of hijack and protest Australia Day. You know, we are all sick of this debate. We're sick of the political correctness. You know, I have people come up to me in the street saying, "Oh, thank goodness you're brave enough to say what we think, but we're too scared to say." Is this the kind of Australia we want to live in, where there's this tug of war between freedom of speech and freedom of you know, offence? You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, so clearly some people's opinion is more equal than others people's opinion. That's what they're saying, you know, with this PC nonsense. We have laws that are really making it so hard for any of us to express ourselves. I've been penalised very greatly by expressing my opinion, and it's such a sad state of affairs for Australia.
I tell you, Luke, you're the only one all those years ago, back on the 26th of January, who was in the box seat as a white privileged male. Women like Prue and I, we didn't have the vote, we couldn't own property, we couldn't go to university. But that doesn't mean I don't want to commemorate and celebrate the 26th of January. It's a time we do all the good in our country, and we don't whitewash or gloss over some of the difficult parts either, but that's the richness of what this country is, and that's why the date has got such strong support, it seems, from all Australians.
Well, I think this poll discovers, does it not, the quiet Australians. We've now found them, and they generally, we agree with them. They were not that hard to see on election day when they gave Scott Morrison another crack. But you're right, and look, the Prime Minister makes this point, I think it's a good one. We've got to find a better way to disagree. Now, we can't all accept, you know, that everyone's right. We have, as Prue says, got different opinions, and that's fine. But, you know, social media, one part of it in particular, is the best illustration of this. I see something I don't like, I go, oh well, don't like that, look away, do something else. If there's a show in town I don't want to go to that might be not exactly my cup of tea, I don't go on social media and say, this is outrageous, I can't possibly go to this show, how could they? And I think too many people in the media have a look at Twitter and think, oh right, that's what people think. No, it's not. That's people who've got this condition that sadly is too widespread in the country, outrage-itis. What can I be angry about today? Drives me nuts. Leave the date where it is.
My blood pressure can't suffer Twitter, so I'm not on there.